As the somber words echoed through the air, my family gathered, their faces etched with sorrow, reading my fake farewell aloud. But in that moment of despair, I stepped into the room, a ghost from the shadows defying the finality of their grief. As I stood there, the rich aroma of coffee enveloping me, my phone suddenly buzzed, shattering the stillness of the moment. It was a haunting video message from Mrs. Langford, our long-lost neighbor, stirring emotions buried deep within us. It had been an eternity since her voice had graced my ears. Her name flickered on my screen, resurrecting memories I believed were long forgotten, haunting me with their intensity. The message was brief, yet it carried the weight of unspoken longing. In the shadows of our hearts, we dare to dream the impossible. My heart aches for you and the pain you must be feeling about your parents. My heart aches as I recount the shocking sight that unfolded before my eyes today. A knot formed in my stomach. With trembling fingers, I pressed play on the video, my heart racing as the screen flickered to life. It was a church, one that stirred memories deep within my soul. St. Albans, a name that echoes with unspoken desires and hidden truths. The very spot that once cradled my childhood dreams, where the flickering candles and hushed whispers of Christmas Eve services enveloped me in warmth and wonder. The camera drew closer, capturing the tension between two figures poised at the podium, their presence heavy with unspoken words and lingering glances. My heart aches for my parents. My mother, cloaked in black lace and adorned with pearls, delicately wiping away her feigned tears. My father, rigid and grave, clutched a paper with trembling hands as he read, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily in the air. Behind them a casket loomed, heavy with unspoken words and lingering sorrow. Beside that casket lay my photograph, grand and framed, encircled by delicate flowers, a haunting reminder of what once was. My heart stopped, caught in a moment of sheer disbelief. No! My father's voice reverberated through the phone, heavy with unspoken truths and a weight that felt insurmountable. She was forever a girl burdened by her own demons. Yet our hearts were entwined with hers. We poured our hearts into every effort, leaving no stone unturned. My vision became a haze, shrouded in uncertainty. He stood there, voice trembling, as he read the words meant to honor my departure, my very own fake farewell. Though she departed from this life far too soon, we fervently hope her spirit has at last discovered solace. What is this? I was not gone from this world. I stood in my apartment, a whirlwind of life coursing through me, each breath a tremor of unspoken turmoil. This had to be a dream. I delved into the past, replaying the moments over and over, each repetition pulling at the threads of my heart. Their expressions remained frozen, as if the weight of unspoken truths hung heavily in the air. Their voices remained steady, betraying none of the sorrow that threatened to consume them. They were a picture of serenity, yet beneath the surface a tempest brewed. Bound, executed. My fingers clutched the edge of the kitchen counter, a silent testament to the turmoil within me. My hands shook uncontrollably, a tempest of emotion raging within me. What on earth is happening? I breathed my words into the silence. Why must they pursue this path? It had been an eternity since our last words echoed in the silence between us. Not since they severed all ties, casting me aside as if I were nothing more than a blemish on their esteemed image. But to dare to hold a funeral? To pronounce me lost forever? With each passing moment, the chills seeped deeper into my bones. My mother spoke of the heartbreaking nature of my accident. It was not a mere accident. My father recounted the haunting days of my final years, shrouded in the suffocating silence of isolation. I was toiling, existing, enduring in the shadows of my own heart's desires. They were painfully aware of that truth. They were compelled to. Why must we linger in the shadows of our desires? What drove them to this perilous path? I sank into my seat, the haunting melody of the phone echoing in the silence. The video concluded with a haunting sweep of the camera, revealing the sorrowful faces of the mourners, each one a testament to the weight of unspoken grief. Separated by the weight of bloodlines, yet bound by an unspoken connection. Friends entwined by the bonds of family. Even the memories of my childhood linger like a haunting whisper, filled with unspoken desires and shadows of what could never be. Instructor of the piano. Everything is laid bare. Clad in shadows they stood together, a haunting presence in the dim light. Everyone thought I had vanished into the shadows, gone forever. and no soul. Not a single soul dared to extend a hand towards me. I replayed the video, my heart racing, desperate to confirm that what I had seen was not a figment of my imagination. Yet, the truth loomed heavy in the shadows. They didn't merely erase me, they obliterated my very existence. They laid me to rest beneath the earth, shrouded in silence. Awake. And in that fleeting moment, a singular truth pierced through the chaos, illuminating the depths of the heart. This was no mere error. It was a heart-wrenching choice. Once everything was different. Once I held the conviction that family was a sanctuary, a shield against the world's cruel realities. Devotion. That fragile dream was torn apart 3 years ago. The day I was cast aside from my own existence, discarded like refuse hidden beneath a veil of silence. What is the truth? It was not my hand that took the money, but the shadows of desperation that whispered my name. It was Sophie, my cherished younger sister, whose presence ignited a tumultuous storm within my heart. The cherished one, bathed in the glow of unattainable dreams. The one who was beyond reproach. She betrayed us all, siphoning nearly $80,000 from the very heart of our family's business account. She was a tempest, wild and untamed, consumed by a life that was always just out of reach. When the figures spiraled into chaos and the flames consumed the pages, our parents found themselves in desperate need of the one burdened with blame. And I was merely a shadow, lingering in the corners of their desires. The haunting echo of my mother's words still lingers in the air, a chilling reminder of that fateful moment in the kitchen. It is preferable to have one shattered daughter than to bear the burden of two. My father averted his gaze as he uttered those words, leaving a chasm of silence between us. You brought us to our knees in shame. You have been cast away from our hearts, severed from the bond that once defined us as family. As dawn broke, I vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a world that could never understand my choice. There is an absence of wealth. Silence reigns, a heavy shroud of secrecy enveloping the truth, leaving no room for questions or understanding. Only an aching silence lingers in the air. I reached out, my heart heavy with unspoken words. Whispers exchanged through the glow of a screen. I poured my heart into letters, each word a whisper of longing and despair. Silence envelopes the void, a haunting absence that speaks volumes. In the depths of this emptiness, emotions swirl like shadows, each one a whisper of what could have been, a longing that remains unfulfilled. The weight of unspoken words hangs heavy in the air, a reminder of the passion that dared not surface, forever trapped in the realm of the unattainable. My number was silenced, a barrier erected between us, a cruel twist of fate that severed our connection. As I extended my hand towards those I considered family, an unsettling silence enveloped me, their responses fading into the shadows. One by one, the doors that had once welcomed me with warmth now crashed closed, sealing away the light of hope. I transformed into a specter not merely to them, but to the whole universe that had once embraced my existence. In the end, I succumbed to the actions of those who are shattered within. I walked away, my heart heavy with the weight of unspoken words and lingering glances, knowing that the path I chose was fraught with shadows and unfulfilled desires. I left everything behind and ventured into the unknown, crossing borders that separated me from my past. Accepted a position in a quaint cafe, where the aroma of coffee mingles with unspoken dreams. I severed the ties, changing my number, a silent act of defiance against the past. Embraced the silence of solitude. I chose to keep my silence hidden away from the world. My name lingered on the tip of my tongue, a whisper caught in the shadows. Yet, even in the shadows of despair, a flicker of hope clung to my heart. Yearning for the day when a voice, any voice, would break the silence and reach out to me. Inquire about my well-being. Whisper it to me, please. It had all been a tragic error, a haunting misstep that lingered in the shadows of their hearts. That day remained an elusive dream, forever out of reach. Instead, a fate far more tragic unfolded. Last year I found myself yearning to reclaim my old email, a haunting echo of what once was. Yet it remained unattainable. When I reached out to support, I was met with the heart-wrenching news that my account had been deactivated, shrouded in the sorrowful report of a user no longer among the living. My name lay shrouded in shadows, forever marked as lost in their unforgiving system. At long last it is done. In the realm of the digital where shadows intertwine with light, A world unfolds that is both captivating and elusive. Utterly, they had cast me aside, severing the ties that once bound us. They wiped me from existence. The night enveloped me in a suffocating silence, robbing me of the solace of sleep. The haunting images replayed endlessly in the depths of my thoughts. Their voices echoed through the shadows, a haunting melody that stirred the depths of the heart. Their hollow sorrow. My visage lingered beside a casket, an unfamiliar sight that stirred a tempest within my soul. The haunting echoes of my own funeral linger in the shadows, a bittersweet symphony of sorrow and longing. In the silence that follows, a void lingers, aching and profound. The absence is palpable, a haunting reminder of what once was, now shrouded in shadows. A shadow loomed over the truth, whispering secrets that should never see the light of day. Thus I began my descent into the depths of the unknown. In that moment of desperation, I reached for the phone, my heart pounding as I dialed my aunt's number. Linda, the enigmatic sister of my mother, a figure shrouded in the shadows of our family's past. Years had slipped away in silence, yet the memory of her secret gestures lingered like a forbidden sweetness at family reunions, where candy became our unspoken bond. Her voice broke the silence on the second ring. "Is anyone there?" Aunt Linda, the name lingers in the air, heavy with unspoken words and untold stories. "It is I. It is Lena." Stillness hung in the air, heavy and unyielding. And then a sudden click echoed in the silence. She ended the call, her heart heavy with unspoken words. I reached out once more, my heart heavy with unspoken words. Shut out from the world. Then I turned to my cousins, seeking solace in their presence. One sent me a thumbs-up emoji, a fleeting moment of connection, and then vanished into silence, leaving my heart heavy with unspoken words. Another inquired, "Is this a cruel twist of fate?" In a world where shadows masked my true self, only one soul dared to see through the veil and recognize the essence of who I truly was. My dearest cousin Ben, the one who stirs the depths of my heart, the one who gazed at me with admiration during our childhood, a bond that felt both precious and unattainable. His reply came laced with uncertainty. "Lena, is it truly you who breathes in this world?" Indeed, I must uncover the truth, no matter the cost. What secrets did they whisper to the world? The typing bubble flickered endlessly, a haunting promise of words yet to be spoken. Then they whispered, "You were gone forever." Amidst the chaos of twisted metal and shattered glass, a life hangs in the balance, forever altered by a single fateful moment. Across the distant seas, 3 years passed. A wave of dread washed over me. They shared a tale that was both profound and heart-wrenching. It was whispered that it occurred during your journey, that the moment had passed, and you could never return to the place where you truly belonged. In the quiet embrace of flames, a soul is released, leaving behind whispers of memories and the weight of unspoken goodbyes. Shuttered forever. My heart raced as I almost let my phone slip from my grasp. Never had there been a collision, a moment where fate could have twisted the threads of destiny. In all my time away, I had never once possessed a car. A part of me shattered, breaking free from the confines of restraint. I unearthed every document I possessed, each one a fragment of a past I could not escape. In the depths of longing, a single word emerges: passport. A gateway to dreams, yet a symbol of barriers. It holds the weight of unspoken desires and the ache of distant horizons. Whispers of longing, each stamp a silent testament to journeys untold. Whispers of past lives entwined in the shadows of rental records. Documents of longing and separation. Until that fateful moment, I had always navigated life unscathed. I had never vanished into the shadows. In a moment of quiet desperation, I ventured into the depths of the Public Records Office online. And there it stood, a haunting presence that stirred the depths of the soul. Lena Delacroix, a name that echoes with the weight of unspoken desires and hidden truths. The final breath taken. July 16th, a day etched in the heart, where shadows linger and secrets whisper in the silence of the night. Reason: a tragic collision on the road. Condition: gone forever. Identification of the certificate: ARC F9130027. They created it in secret. They condemned me to a life of shadows, rendering me legally dead. My gaze lingered on the screen, a tempest of emotions swirling within me. Immovable, caught in a moment that defies time. This was something deeper, a tumultuous storm raging within, a longing that could never be fulfilled. This was not a mere refusal to accept reality. This was a shrouded secret, hidden beneath layers of deception. But what dark secret were they concealing that was worth entombing me in despair? I should have known better than to unearth the shadows of the past. Yet, when the chilling truth dawns that your own flesh and blood has cast you into the depths of despair, an insatiable need to uncover the reasons behind such betrayal consumes you. In a hidden corner of my past, I stumbled upon the answer I had long since abandoned, a revelation that stirred the depths of my soul. Sophie's secret world on Instagram. She had dared to step into the light once more. And there it stood, a haunting presence that stirred the depths of the soul. A dazzling whirl of haunting memories. Pure white roses, their delicate petals whispering secrets of love that can never be spoken. A beauty that aches with longing and unfulfilled desire. Glistening cascades of champagne. A vision of opulence and allure. A gem so colossal it rivals the very heavens themselves. Sophie's fateful union. All eyes were upon them, a gathering steeped in tension and unspoken desires. Aunt Linda, her smile a mask, as if she hadn't just severed our connection with a single click. My cousins, their glasses colliding in a bittersweet symphony. Even the great-uncle, Theo, a distant figure residing in a far-off land, remained a haunting absence in every moment that mattered. But not for me. Not a single word spoken. Not a single photograph to capture the moment. Not even a single wish could bring Lena back to this moment. I had vanished into the abyss, wiped from memory as if I had never drawn breath. It was only when I dared to peer deeper into the shadows that the truth revealed itself. In one haunting photograph captured during the reception, a speech unfolded, laden with unspoken truths and heavy silences. To the unspoken desires that linger in the shadows, we raise our glasses, embracing the weight of what cannot be. Here's to the moments that ignite our souls, yet remain just out of reach. Her husband stood with a smile that masked the turmoil beneath, and beside him, there he stood, my father, a wine glass cradled in his hand, his voice echoing through the microphone, a grin stretching across his face, beneath the words that read, "To the one daughter who always made us proud." A moment suspended in time, bittersweet and laden with unspoken truths. And there it stood, a haunting presence in the shadows. The moment of transformation. Not merely lost to time. Cast aside. Driven by an insatiable longing, I delved into the depths of the family business registry. With just a few clicks, a chilling wave coursed through my veins. The trust fund my grandparents had entrusted to me, my college dreams, the seed money for my aspirations, was cruelly handed over to Sophie mere months after I had departed from this world. In the shadows of legality she remained silent, her heart untouched by the weight of my absence. She took advantage of my vulnerability. As I gazed upon her radiant smile, the sunlight dancing upon her white dress, an overwhelming realization washed over me. My sister didn't merely take my place. She wiped me from existence. The time had come to draw the line. If they sought my demise, they were about to witness the depths of my existence in ways they could never have imagined. The following morning I stepped into the law office, clutching a stack of documents, my heart ablaze with a tumultuous intensity. Marks of a journey, each one a whisper of distant lands and untold stories. Contracts of employment. The weight of tax filings looms over us, a shadowy obligation that stirs a tempest of anxiety and dread within. Each form, a silent testament to our struggles, whispers secrets of our past choices, binding us to a fate we cannot escape. Contracts that bind souls to spaces, where dreams and desires intertwine with the weight of obligation. Records of flight. Evidence of a truth that trembles on the edge of revelation. Unyielding. Irrevocably damning. The young attorney across the desk appeared utterly bewildered, as if the weight of the world had just crashed down upon them. In this moment you are everything I have ever longed for. Yet the very essence of you feels like a distant dream forever out of reach. The weight of our unspoken desires hangs heavy in the air, a bittersweet reminder of what can never be. My heart aches with the knowledge that our paths are intertwined, yet bound by the chains of circumstance, leaving us to navigate this tumultuous sea of longing and despair. Defying the very essence of your own demise? With trembling hands I pushed the counterfeit certificate across the table, a silent testament to the secrets we dared to share. I may still breathe, but my spirit will linger, forever entwined in their shadows. He blinked, a slow nod escaping his lips, heavy with unspoken words. Then we shall embark on a tumultuous journey, initiating a fraud complaint and a desperate plea to overturn the declaration of death. Time is a luxury I cannot afford, I interrupted, my voice trembling with urgency. It seems that fate has woven a somber thread into my life, as I find myself facing a memorial this Sunday. He lifted his gaze. I stood my ground, unwavering. Earlier that day, a message arrived shrouded in mystery, from a number that sent shivers down my spine. Only a single line, a fragile thread binding us to the unspoken, lingering in the shadows of what should never be. Next Sunday, a gathering will take place at St. Albans in your honor. A bittersweet tribute to a love that lingers in the shadows. Untitled. No justification needed. Yet I was all too familiar with the church. My heart raced as I recalled the address, a haunting reminder of what could never be. It was undeniable, and thus unfolded my tragic design. As I gazed out from the window of my apartment that fateful night, a tempest of emotions swirled within me. The city, a labyrinth of shadows and whispers, holds secrets that pulse beneath its surface, waiting to be uncovered. Lights shimmer beneath me, like forbidden sparks yearning for the touch of igniting flames. They adorned me with deceit, entombed in a shroud of silence, acted as if I were a mere shadow, fading into the depths of oblivion. Yet now, at last, I found myself upon a stage, where the weight of unspoken desires and hidden truths hung thick in the air. Allow them to mourn. Let their tears flow freely. Allow them to take the stage. And when the curtain rises, let us orchestrate a farewell that will echo through the ages. St. Albans stood before me, a tapestry of life and longing, its streets brimming with unspoken desires and hidden stories. Cars lined the street, a somber procession echoing the weight of unspoken sorrow. The imposing doors of the church creaked open, allowing a somber procession of mourners clad in black to slip inside, their hearts heavy with unspoken sorrow. Weeping in the shadows, a heart torn asunder, softly murmuring secrets, embracing one another as if the weight of sorrow had entwined their souls, them in their own essence. I stood in the shadows, my heart racing as I observed from a distance, yearning yet unable to bridge the chasm that separated us. A cloak of darkness, shades that conceal the soul's deepest secrets. Yet, in the silence that envelopes us, a tension lingers, heavy and unspoken. Unseen. It felt like a dream, a moment suspended in time, where reality blurred and emotion surged like a tempest within. It felt as though I was witnessing a performance that mirrored my very essence, a character who bore my likeness, yet existed in a world I could never truly inhabit. It resonated deep within me, yet it was never truly me. Within the confines of the room, the performance had commenced, shrouded in an air of tension and unspoken desires. The organ wept with a haunting melody, each note steeped in sorrow and longing. The candles danced in the shadows, casting a haunting glow upon my image. The very one that graced the pages of that deceitful fake farewell. The memory of that fateful day lingers, haunting me with its bittersweet shadows. A genuine smile graced my lips, a fleeting moment of joy amidst the shadows that surrounded me. In those haunting moments, my father loomed at the pulpit, a figure of authority shrouded in shadows of unspoken truths. Expression grave, whispers that tremble on the edge of silence. She was consumed by turmoil, yet our hearts were entwined with hers. She wandered into the shadows, her path obscured by the weight of her heart's longing. And even in our darkest moments, when hope seemed a distant whisper, we clung to the fervent wish that she would return to us once more. My mother occupied the front row, her delicate hands trembling as she dabbed at her tears with lace-trimmed tissues, a performance she seemed to have rehearsed for an eternity. Her sobs were fragile, echoing the weight of unspoken desires, utterly flawless. And Sophie. The name lingers in the air, heavy with unspoken desires and the weight of choices that can never be undone. She stood there, pearls gripped tightly in her hand, as if they were the only thing holding her shattered heart together. My sister Lena was a tempest of complexities, yet she belonged to me alone. How I longed for the chance to utter those final words of farewell, a deception cloaked in sorrow, bound with a delicate ribbon. I moved nearer to the doors, my heart racing, straining to catch the whispers that lingered within. The priest lifted his hand with a weighty gravity, as if the very air around him held its breath in anticipation. May her soul find eternal solace. I released a breath, heavy with unspoken words. Not just yet. The performance lingered on, a haunting echo of unspoken desires and unfulfilled dreams. Yet, the protagonist remained absent, shrouded in an air of longing and uncertainty. Let us now pause, enveloped in a profound stillness, as we honor what has been lost. The priest's voice resonated through the church, a haunting farewell that lingered in the air like the last breath of a dying dream. All stood, hearts pounding in the heavy silence, heads bowed in silent despair. Shut tight, a world unseen, hands clasped delicately over aching hearts. And in that heart-stopping moment, I dared to push open the doors. The sound pierced the air, a haunting echo that lingered in the silence. Intentional. 2 heavy oak doors creaked open, echoing the sound of a tomb being torn asunder. The chilling light from outside seeped in, casting shadows that whispered secrets of longing and despair. Into the church, cascading down the aisle like a forbidden revelation. And I plunged into the depths of it. With a heavy heart, it unfolds, each moment stretching into eternity. With intent. Every heel strike on the marble floor resonated through the silence, sharp and piercing like a gunshot, shattering the stillness of the moment. With a sudden sharp sound, the moment hung in the air, heavy with unspoken words and lingering glances. With a sudden heart-stopping click, the world around me shifted, sealing away the unspoken desires that lingered in the shadows. With a sudden sharp sound, the world around me shifted, a moment frozen in time. The silence shattered, revealing the tumult beneath. Breath catches. A handful of souls glanced back, their expressions heavy with unspoken tension. Then an overwhelming surge of longing consumed me. Whispers ignited, spreading with an intensity that consumed everything in their path. Could it be? Simply cannot be. A child's voice shattered the heavy silence, echoing with an innocence that felt almost sacrilegious in the charged atmosphere. Mother. Could it be her standing there shrouded in shadows of the past? I removed my sunglasses, revealing the depths of my soul hidden behind the dark lenses. Our gazes collided, igniting a spark that felt both exhilarating and perilous. Vast and unending. Incredulous. Consumed by fear. My mother's face drained of color, a haunting stillness enveloping the room. Her lips quivered with unspoken longing. Then she shattered. A dramatic, heart-wrenching swoon. Her body fell as if it had been scripted, a tragic performance unfolding in the shadows. My father's mouth hung open, a silent testament to the weight of unspoken truths that lingered in the air, heavy and charged with a tension that felt almost palpable. The wine glass tumbled from his trembling fingers, shattering the silence with a heart-wrenching crash. It broke apart against the pew, scattering remnants of what once was. Sophie, a name that echoes with longing and unspoken desires. Sophie's gaze pierced through the air, a silent storm brewing between us, and became utterly still. Her jaw tightened, a storm brewing within her, a silent battle raging in the depths of her soul. Her pearl necklace twisted tightly in her grip, a symbol of the unspoken desires that bound her heart. The delicate glass of champagne slipped from her grasp, shattering the stillness as it cascaded over her pristine white shoes. A moment of chaos in an otherwise flawless evening. The priest, overwhelmed by the weight of the moment, staggered backward, his heart racing with disbelief. I continued my journey, each step heavy with unspoken words and lingering glances that could never be shared. Every gaze in the room clung to my movements, as if they were caught between disbelief and the haunting presence of something long lost. A moment of truth. And perhaps I was a blend of both shadows and light. Silence enveloped me, a heavy shroud of unspoken thoughts and feelings. I was never meant to. My presence was the storm that followed the betrayal. The fate they desperately hoped to evade had finally arrived. As I approached the front of the aisle, an electric tension filled the air, as if the entire room was suspended in a moment of collective anticipation. I turned, my heart racing, as if the very air around me crackled with unspoken tension. Confronted them all, heart racing, knowing the weight of what lay ahead, and smiled, a bittersweet curve of lips that held secrets too heavy to bear. Let the truth unfold in all its haunting glory. I found myself at the altar, the weight of my own portrait looming above me, a haunting reminder of the love that could never be. The very bene photo they chose to immortalize my memory, to lay me to rest. As I pivoted to confront the sea of faces, a wave of tension surged through me. Countless gazes pierced through me, as if I had emerged from the depths of the abyss. Let them gaze, let them judge. I swallowed hard, the weight of unspoken words heavy in the air. Once, in a fleeting moment that felt like an eternity, everything changed. And whispered into the void. I was told that I have perished. Yet I find myself. I am here to rewrite the tale. A tremor swept across the room, stirring unspoken feelings and hidden desires. Silence hung heavy in the air, a palpable tension that gripped every heart. No one dared to break the stillness. Some clutched their phones tightly, their eyes wide and unblinking, lost in the moment, unable to capture the fleeting magic before them. It was not a mere accident. No heart-wrenching car crash abroad. The casket remained open, a haunting reminder of the tragedy, for the body lay beyond recognition, shrouded in sorrow and despair. With trembling hands I retrieved a folder from the depths of my coat, a secret burden I could no longer bear to hide. Dense, sealed with a heavy heart, bound by fate, marked by the weight of authority and the passage of time, shrouded in secrecy and longing. These are the marks of my journeys, each one a whisper of the places I've dared to tread. My forbidden past, shrouded in the shadows of employment records. The weight of tax filings looms over us, a shadowy obligation that binds us to the past, whispering secrets of our financial choices. Each form, a testament to our struggles and triumphs, carries the burden of our hidden truths, a dance of numbers that feels both necessary and forbidden. Whispers of apartment leases linger in the air, a bittersweet reminder of choices made and paths not taken. I have existed, burdened by the weight of my own heart. I have been toiling away, lost in the shadows of my own ambition. I have been enduring, clinging to the fragile threads of existence. The only thing I lost was them, the very essence of my heart, slipping through my fingers like sand, leaving an ache that echoes in the silence of my soul. I faced my parents, my heart heavy with unspoken words. They announced to the world that I had perished, fabricated the papers, submitted a certificate, a silent testament to the weight of unspoken truths. And when I was irrevocably lost to the world, I cast my gaze upon Sophie, who remained motionless, caught in a moment suspended between desire and despair. Fingers trembling with unspoken desires, gripped tightly around her pearls, a silent storm brewed within her heart. They entrusted her with it all, a heavy burden laden with unspoken desires and the weight of secrets. The inheritance that binds me, yet keeps me shackled in a world of expectations. The legacy that binds me, a treasure shrouded in shadows. The story of my existence. Sophie parted her lips, a tempest of unspoken words swirling within her. Each syllable a fragile thread tethered to a world that dared not listen. Yearned to utter the words that trembled on the edge of my lips. I couldn't allow her to cross that line. Cease this at once. Relish the home you acquired with the funds I provided. A whisper surged, echoing with the weight of unspoken truths. Behind me, a voice lingered in the shadows murmuring, "She holds the evidence." Another breath caught in the throat, and then a phone was raised, trembling with unspoken words. A crimson beacon pulsates in the shadows. A hidden camera captured the moment, shrouded in secrecy. It is good. Let the world witness this funeral for the tragic spectacle it truly became. This is not a goodbye. A shrouded truth. You didn't lose a daughter, I declared, locking eyes with my father, my heart pounding with the weight of unspoken truths. You cast her aside, as if she were nothing more than a fleeting shadow in your life. And now you are left to witness her return. A moment heavy with unspoken words and lingering glances. The lies lay in ruins, a smoldering reminder of what once was. And in that moment I struck the match, igniting a fire that could consume everything in its path. I glanced over my shoulder for one final lingering moment. My father's face was ashen, a haunting reflection of despair. My mother sat there, her body quaking with an unspoken fear, as if the weight of the world pressed down upon her fragile frame. Oh Sophie, empty and aching, overcome by despair. There are no pearls left to grasp in this moment of despair. You entombed me in silence to shield your own hearts, I whispered with a heavy heart. Yet I returned, to linger in your thoughts forever. The undeniable truth, shrouded in shadows and whispers, beckons with a haunting allure. Silence falls heavy between us, a chasm filled with unspoken words. Enough with the deception. Only an aching silence lingers in the air. Burdened. It is the end. As I stepped into the world outside, the haunting chime of the church bells echoed through the air, a bittersweet reminder of what I was leaving behind. How utterly poignant. The mournful toll of a funeral bell echoes through the air, a haunting reminder of love lost and the weight of sorrow that lingers in the heart. Yet this time it is not meant for my heart to claim. In a whirlwind of fleeting moments, emotions collide and intertwine, painting a vivid tapestry of longing and desire. Each frame captures the essence of a love that dares not speak its name, a story woven in shadows and whispers, where every glance ignites a fire that cannot be quenched. The heart races, caught in the throes of a passion that defies the very fabric of reality, leaving behind a haunting echo of what could never be. With trembling hands, I surrendered the documents to my lawyer, a weighty silence enveloping the air between us, as if the very act of handing them over sealed my fate. With trembling hands, I sealed my fate by signing the final document, knowing that this act would forever change the course of my life. Page. Witnessed the shattering of a life, as the death certificate is ripped asunder. My legal resurrection has been sealed, a moment heavy with consequence and unspoken truths. A shadowy investigation has been ignited, delving into the depths of deceit, treachery, and the betrayal of trust. Let them attempt to weave their deceit now. Whispers linger in the air, soft yet profound. At times one must surrender to the shadows of their existence, only to rise anew in a realm of their own making. This time I would not return seeking absolution. I was returning, driven by the desperate yearning for liberation.